Welcome to War General T's next battle report. This is a High Elf versus a High Elf, and we have my High Elves versus the BigBadBatrep's High Elves. So we got red fire versus blue themed ice elves. So for this, of course, you can look at the list and see our builds and make comments and whatnot, but of course we got an upcoming tournament that we're testing for, so this doesn't really work out because we have a high elf versus high elf, but we kind of picked from the book for scenario, got Blood and Glory, which kind of fits into one of the games for the tournament coming up, so that's what we do for that. And then we go off and we'll see how the deployment and the army build for each army is. So sit back and enjoy. And here we are on my left flank. I got a bolt thrower in the ruins with an eagle, bare bones, reavers with the standard, phoenix guard with a full command, and then in there I have my level 2 mage with the high magic, and Kara Drayan in there. And then the unit has a razor standard. And then in my center there, I got 10 archers in the woods with a standard. And here we are on my right flank. I got a unit of silver helms there near the center of the woods, proxied by Brits because I'm working on them, don't touching them up, and didn't bring them along. So they have a full command. And I got my dragon princes there on the other side of the house. Take up that, get around there, which has full command. BSB noble, the level 4 archmage with the book of oath, and the unit has the banner of the world dragon. Then I got another bolt thrower behind the wall there, and my last reaver unit with the standard on the far right. And this is my deployment. And for my opponent, BigBadBatrep, he has on his right flank unit of sisters, 19 of them, High Met Sister, and then a Handmaiden or Everqueen. Then he's got a unit of reavers behind the house. I believe he had nothing on that, no command on them. A bolt thrower in the house. Noble on an eagle with a star lance, heavy armor, lion cloak, and the charm shield. Then in his center, he has a unit of 10 silver helms with a magician standard. Then his dragon princes are there. Will be also on another image, but that's his right side of them. And here we are on his left flank. There's the rest of his dragon princes there, and they have a full command. A level 4 archmage who was his general, a noble BSB, and the banner of the world dragon for the unit as a whole. So, and in the house there, he has a bolt thrower, and then next to the house, a unit of archers with a standard, and in front of them, reavers, pretty bare bones, and a third bolt thrower in the woods. So that's my opponent's left flank. So we go off to Vanguard. We both have Vanguard, so if we roll off, I won the first one. And that was on the one on the left there with the reavers. They just kind of moved that way. Then his reavers by the sisters moved second. Kind of did a shift to the right. Then I moved my reavers on the right side to aim at the bolt thrower. Then his reavers shifted along behind the house, in between the houses there. And here we go, off 2 turns. So my opponent we rolled off, and he won the roll off, so he got to go first. So he doesn't declare any charges in this turn, and he just moves his reavers around behind my reavers. His sister's up towards the wall. His noble and the eagle moves up a little. His silver helm shuffles over, and then his dragon prince is back there on the right. He moves back a couple inches out of my charge arc, and then his archers just kind of swing around a little bit, and his other reavers move up towards my bolt thrower there, and that's it for his movement. And then we move off into magic. He rolls for 5 total power dice, and I get 4 to spell, no channels. So the first one, he goes enabling full on my silver helms. He rolls 15 total, and I attempt to do a roll, and I only get up to 12. So that goes off, lowering my strength by 1 on them. Then he uses his last 2 dice and does a boosted miasma on my Phoenix card there, you can see in the left picture, and gets that off because I only had 1 dice left, and fortunately I can't get that high. So that goes off. He rolls and lowers all 4 skill points down by 3, which was weapon skill, initiative, and movement. So there's that. And then we go off to his shooting. So his archers there at the top shooting to my reavers, killing 3 of them. And the bolt thrower there in the woods shoots into my silver helms, killing 1, the one that was in the back. And I saved 1 of the wounds. Then his reavers shoot my bolt thrower there. No, actually that's not though. The one on the left shoots into the bolt thrower in the ruins, killing 1 of them. The bolt thrower inside his house up there shoots at the silver helms, killing a silver helm. His sisters shoot at my Ellen reavers that were in front of him, and facing him. But then he has reavers behind my, so he wipes that unit out with the sister shots. And his last bolt thrower, I believe that was the one in the woods. Actually, no, the reavers shoot at the bolt thrower behind the stone wall, getting no wounds through there. So that's pretty much the end of turn 1 for him. There's no combat. And then we'll go off to my high elf turn. And here we are at my high elf turn. So my reavers, you'll see on the next image too, is they're charging the bolt throwers, getting in. Pretty much for movements, my silver helms and my dragon bridges just move up alongside the houses to get closer for charges. And for my magic phase, I got 5 dice. This time he gets 4 dice, no channel. So I roll 2 dice and dispel the spell there that's on the silver helm. Take my last 3 dice, attempt to pit the shades on the archers, getting a 16. He rolls all his 4 and got a 19, so nothing there. So with that, we go off to shooting. My bolt thrower behind the stone wall shoots at his reaver unit there, killing 1. So here's another image of those charges. Reavers at the bolt thrower in the woods there. And then my eagle, he just moves over to the side to scare his reavers to do something, hopefully different and whatnot. So that's pretty much it for shooting, for movement, magic. And then we go off to combat. We got the combat there with the reavers on the right, wiping on his bolt thrower, and nothing on the left. That go back to shooting with his my bolt thrower against his reavers and archer. No wait, my bolt thrower, yeah. And my archers against his silver helms. They don't do anything, though they get a wound through, but he saves that. And of course, I believe What happened on my bolt thrower? It was like my bolt thrower in the ruins did something so I can't shoot that round. I don't remember. Well, anyways, so there's that. There's no really much for combat. So that's end of that turn. And then here we are on to High Elf turn 2 for BigBadBatrep. So he sees some charges, reavers into the bolt thrower. His Noble and Eagle flies over towards my Phoenix guard. His Silver Helms get into my archers. And it'll probably be in the next image, but his other reavers get in, so we'll go to there. There's the charges, some more of the charges, both reavers getting in. Of course, with my archers on the Silver Helm, I do a stand and shoot, which I was able to kill one of his because he failed to save there. There's that kill there in the Silver Helms there from the archers, and of course the Silver Helms, they get in. So for magic, he gets 10, and I got 6, no channels. First one, he miasmas my Phoenix Guard, lowering all 4 of their initiatives by 2 this time, because I missed it even with my reroll. My first roll had 2 1s, and I rerolled a dice, still didn't get high enough, because he had a 12, and then I got 10 even with the reroll. Then he man raises his archers with 4 dice, getting like 20 plus. So I attempt with my 4 dice for my level 2, need a couple 6s. Unfortunately, I don't get it, so that goes off. And then his last one, he attempts to wither the withering on my Phoenix Guard. Gets it off, but I use my Dispel Scroll, so that's gone. And then we go off to shooting. So as you can see, my Phoenix Guard there at the very bottom. They get shot out by the bolt thrower. A couple bolt throwers. Yeah, each one in each house shoots at my Silver Helms, killing 5 total. All single shots, mind you. This is the single shot for both bolt throwers at the same unit. Of course, I passed all my tests and what I need to from shooting, blah blah blah. So I stay there. Sister shoot the Phoenix Guard, killing 3 of them. Yeah, 3 die there. Of course, I saved like a couple. Then his archers shoot into my Elven Reavers that were in the woods there, killing those 2, so now they're gone. Then we go off to combat. Here's some of the this is the results of the combat. So his Reavers wipe out my bolt thrower there and go through the terrain, and takes their tests, and 2 of his Reavers die, failing the dangerous terrain test. And the Silver Helms overcharged, and they pursue and overrun my archers, wiping them out. Of course, they take their test, and 3 of them die going through the woods. And then you can kind of see another view of my Silver Helms wiped out, pretty much from his 2 bolt throwers in this turn. And then we go off to turn 2 for me. So what I do is I charge into his archers, hopefully get them. And they get in. So his archers, they do a stand and shoot, causing 5 wounds. I'm sure you've seen it on his bat report. And it's all the image with the dice. 5 rows. 1 5. And 4 1s. Can you believe that? Oh, my dice rolls were just not there at all tonight. At this night, and so 4 of them die, but then they get in there. That's what they look like. And my Silver Helms charge the flank of him, and so that's that image. Here's another image of my movement where my Phoenix Guard do a swift reform. So they get turned around. So I got my mage to do something against him. So we roll for magic. I get 4. He gets 3. No channels. Oh, magic. There was no magic for pretty much for either of us. Except for he had 2 good ones. So 4 dice. I'll use them all on for arcane unforging on his double, causing him a wound because he couldn't dispel it. And then he used his charm shield for one of the wounds, saves that, so he only has 1 wound. And we roll off to, of course, it's a 1 use, so I believe 1 use. Unfortunately, it's a magic item, or I don't know. We roll it off to randomize it, and kind of yelling there. But anyways, and roll off for which magic item to get rid of, and it was the charm shield. And I rolled high, so that's gone. What? Good grief! What use of this spell? Oh, I thought it would have done better. I was hoping the Star Lance or whatever, but I guess it doesn't really come into play anyways, as you'll see eventually here. So we go into combat. And here is combat. We have the Dragon Princes losing 4 more. Silverhelm's couple goes down, but of course my high charges and stunt horses and flanks and combat res, he loses 10 guys. So he fails his test. Flees. I pursue my Dragon Princes and overrun there. So now I wipe his archers out. And we'll move on. And we go off to his turn 3. For charges, his Dragon Princes declare charge to Silverhelms, who flee. I decide to flee with them. And he does test to redirect, passes, and declares a charge to my Dragon Princes, who then also flee. Of course, I got a good roll on that. And unfortunately, he failed his charge. So he got a 2, and a 1. So he has a failed charge, goes 2 inches. And then finally, his Elven Reavers there by the stone wall declare a charge on my Silverhelms. Of course, since they're already fleeing, they flee again, and they kept the distance pretty wide. So then that's actually movements. You've probably seen the next image, but Silverhelms moves around. His Reavers does a move towards the side of my eagle. Here's some of the results of the charges. You can see that there. And then my Silverhelms are there by the woods, and my Dragon Princes are in the woods. Then, of course, on his movement, he has his Noble and the Eagle flying up there. So his Reavers move up some, and his Princes that's where they ended up. Here's another movement. There's his Silverhelms, and his Elven Reavers move. They do their shooting in the shooting phase, and do a couple wounds on my Eagle. And then that's pretty much it, because there's no combat at this point. So you killed everything, or everything's been killed and fleeing and whatnot. So we are off to my high. Oh yeah, you saw Bolt Thrower does shoot into my the Silverhelms there and wipes that unit out, killing them. So that was the shooting, the other shooting part. So it goes off to my turn 3. So I got my BSB there. That's 1. I got my General, who's Caradryan. He's 2. That's 3 total. Plus the Standard and the Phoenix Guard, that's 4. So I'm at Fortitude 4. So I need to rally my BSB here and hopefully keep him alive and just go around the table, get back towards my other guys. And unfortunately I don't pass. And I roll for the distance. Off the table he goes. So I am down to 3, and that's where we have ended it, because that's the fortitude for the game. Is 3, his breaking point. So here we are at the end. Unfortunately for me, this whole game hasn't been very productive. More so unlike his. So here we are at the end. We have my army as the defeated, of course, with points and bonus victory points and whatnot, and we added things up. Kind of came up to about, I thought it was like a 16-4. It might be a 17-3, but it's around that point. So of course you got to round up and whatnot, and could have done the math a little bit better, but this is what we pretty much ended up. So he had the victory, I have the defeat. So this came down to these few things that you probably noticed from his battle report and mine. One, he had the first turn. I didn't. So he lucked out there. Movement. With his first turn, he was able to move his guys better, get in better angles and whatnot. And then for his magic, for both of our magics is pretty equal, except for that big one, that 8 and 10 he had. But of course I had closer to 6 dice, and so that 8 and 6 was pretty close. But that 10, that one magic phase for him was big. But either ways, for myself, it was either 5 or whatever. It was around that 5 dice. Oh, nothing I could do. I was like, no, not again. Each magic phase was pretty low for me. Just about average for him. And then we go off to shooting. Now this is the phase of the game that's done it for him. That did it for him. His shooting was superb. He was doing one shots all the rounds. His bow throwers, getting hits, getting wounds, kills. Those single shot effectiveness was like in the high 90s. Oh, man, those bow throwers were just on fire. His sisters did a little damage. So and so. They were so 50-50. But oh my gosh, those archers were incredible. Of course, I looked at some of the comments on his battle report before I did the recording for this, and it was kind of notice how some people were saying whatnot strengths and whatnot, but I'll have to look into that more. But man, with that standing shoot that he did against my charging princes, wiping out 4 of them right there, incredible archers, unbelievable. They were superb, 100% effective. So his shooting phase was the big phase of his game. And then combat, I got into his archers, and he got into my archers, so it was pretty much equal. And cavalry against archers is just it's not a matchup. Archers are gonna be wiped out no matter what. Even if they stand or shoot or do the combat, they're gonna be wiped out, and that's what they're there for. Try to get some kills before they get wiped out, and be low enough in points so when they do get wiped out, you don't have that big hit. So there was that. What else? Otherwise, his noble on the eagle was pretty quiet the first 3 rounds, not getting into anything. His sisters, like I said, was so. And his dragon princes were just being wimps and hiding out and not coming close or doing anything. Of course, they failed their charge and got that failed charge. That's about it. But Silver Helms, so they were pretty good on the charge and wiping out my archers. Of course, they weren't very effective going through the woods because they were dying. And for combat, I kind of commented on combat, but if there's any other comments or things you notice and game-wise, more than welcome to make a comment. And anything about builds, comments about the builds, or changes or things you liked or didn't like, more than welcome to leave comments. Always like to see those. So hopefully you enjoyed this quick battle report and review, and hopefully maybe one of these days I'll have a better report of my high elves winning. Hopefully if I can get that first turn, but we'll see. So that's the end of this brother versus brother battle. So hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure if you're not subscribed, just subscribe. I'm happy to see those go up, and I'd like to give a shout out to Mr. Malorian for giving me a spotlight. Unfortunately, I don't know, something happened with my video, but I'm glad he got to narrate some of it, even though he wasn't off on a little bit a few things. But hopefully you guys leave nice comments for his spotlights and on armies if he has to do that again, because I don't know what happened to the video. But I'd like to thank him for his spotlight and for all those views and people coming to view my videos. So hopefully you come back for some more. So thank you.